Good morning and welcome to A Better World with Julann and Fran. I'm Julann.
And I'm Fran, and our guest today is Brandi Moyler. Welcome, Brandi.
Welcome.
Thank
Thanks
you for
so
being our
much for
guest.
having me.
Oh, well,
Yes, I'm
our pleasure.
happy to be here.
Oh, good. And can you talk a little bit about what it is you're doing that makes the world a better place?
Well, I always say my mission, this is always my mission statement, is to help others see, know, and understand first themselves and then others. So I think that takes place in lots of different ways with what I do, especially as a hypnotherapist, because we are shifting perspectives and to help people to see differently.
Oh,
It's
that's
very
great. Do
well
you,
said.
yeah. Do you find that you attract a particular type of client?
I do. I remember sitting in class one day and the professor was like, what you'll find is that you're all, whatever it is that you're going through in life, someone's going to show up at your door. You're going to have a client like that. And they're going to sit down with the exact same thing. And I kid you not, that has been my story throughout this whole entire process, which, it goes to show a lot energetically about we attract what we are putting out there. So I feel like throughout phases, yes, whatever it is that I'm dealing with, yes, I will attract that type of client, that type of person that is also dealing with the same thing. And I think one of the most rewarding things is that I always say, whatever I do to you, I'm also doing to myself. So if I have the same problem that you do, I'm also being healed as well.
Very
Absolutely.
sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Oh, no, please go ahead, Jewel. Did you have a question?
No. I had to look down at my phone because my son-in-law FaceTimed with my grandchildren from my daughter who's here with us. And
Mhm.
I had to just quick send a little message because I don't want him to worry my daughter's not feeling well. So sorry about that.
Oh, not a problem. And how long have you been doing this, Brandy?
I actually started my journey, I would say back in 2017, well, maybe like 2016. Um, and I started my journey, I studied with a Tibetan shaman master, and I became one of his students. And it really changed my life. It really did. And I remember he would always tell us, he would say, well, I'm not here to teach you to be a healer or to teach you anything else, except I'm just here to teach you the truth. And I never really, you know, knew exactly what he meant by that, but it was like the gift that kept on giving. Like, every phase, it was a new level of understanding and was really about understanding self. And so that's why I'm so adamant about that when working with clients to help people find and live in their truth, because that's what it's really all about.
It's true.
Absolutely. And do you find that a lot of people don't know what their truth is?
They don't. Or they do and they're afraid of it, or they do and they don't know how to like go about that. A lot of things, and this is just common all across the board, is because what happens when other people don't share your truth, or you're living in the truth
Mhm.
of,
Someone else.
your upbringing, of society, of conditioning, you know? And so that's always my mission, to help people to find whatever that is, holding space in that judgment free zone so that people can sit with that and find out what their truth is and then really help to support that, you know?
Do you find that sometimes people don't live their truth because of the relationship that they're in, maybe a significant other, or, is that something that people struggle with a lot? I would think that would be something
Oh,
that,
110%. 110%. And this is actually something that I actually went through myself. Um, Whenever I started studying with a shaman master, I remember maybe the following week, I was sitting on the couch in the living room, and I was sitting down meditating one day. And I thought to myself, I just had this idea, and I looked around me and I said, I remember thinking, But if I expand though, this is gonna end my marriage. I just knew that the way that I was being propelled to grow and blossom would end it. So it put me in an awkward situation because I'm like,
Okay.
dang, well, I don't want to end my marriage. I love my husband, but at the same time, in order to uphold this and keep this, I will not be able to grow. And so I suppressed it. I did. I was like, oh my goodness. I tried to pull him
Do
along,
everything
like
you could?
do everything I could. Pull. And my biggest thing was like, well, maybe I can help him see, know, and
There
understand
you go.
too.
You're going to help him change.
Maybe I can like help him change and become enlightened, and
Mm,
this would all be great. But it has to be something that he also wants to
right.
do.
You mean
Even if
there was
I can look and say,
resistance? There was resistance. I find that so hard to
oh my
believe.
God, I,
Oh my God.
for a little while he did, obviously it was at a slower rate than what I was, but I said, oh, this is workable, right? As long as there's movement in the right direction, this is workable. And but I did hold myself back a lot. And I think that he even felt that because he would often say, and he would often tell the kids, I feel like I'm holding mom back. Maybe he didn't quite understand in what way, but he felt that in his spirit, you know? Um, and eventually I could not suppress it any longer. It came in like a boomerang. It's like,
Right.
nope, sorry, you took too long. We got to get things moving along here. And it just ended. Like I could feel it felt the part and the split like in my body. Like I could just feel it. And we ended up going our separate ways, But uh, I learned a lot from that, you
I bet.
know, and a lot of the truths that I was being returned to were the truths that I already had before I ever even got married from the start that I put aside to make it work. So, yeah.
Right. So
It's
when
funny.
you,
We talk about, oh, sorry, Fran,
no,
go ahead.
you go.
We talk about, every week it always comes back to this, how the women put everything on hold or suppress it because they're
Mm-hmm.
helping and loving and supporting and doing so many other things. And that'd be something that would be nice if we could figure out how to get them on board early. Uh, Not that we
Yeah,
want to change
or
them,
just
but
find someone who's in alignment with you,
yes, right.
and that's
Yes,
like, and we all go through these phases like, universe, God, why me? Well, if I had known this, why did I ever? What was even the point? I went through all of that, and the bottom line is, we have free will, and these aren't things that you didn't already know. Turn it back to self, right?
right,
Taking responsibility. These are not things that you didn't know from the start. You chose to suppress those things. You
right,
chose to shut down certain aspects of self so that you could make it work because you felt, I'm doing this in the best interest for the kids. Like,
right.
right? If my kids grow up and have a messed up life, I don't want it to be my fault.
It's going to be
Geez,
your fault anyway. It's
it's
always
gonna
the
be my
mother's fault.
Oh, it already is, and it has been, and that's what has gotten me to accept it. Look, it's my fault regardless. They're all going to
Right,
say that. Does it matter? You
right,
can't, do it for those reasons. So
right.
it really just taught me, really about self value, what's important to you, and like really sitting down and asking these questions, even rhetorical questions, you know, before I make a move on anything. Like, does this align with my truths? And then understanding what those truths are, and
Right.
not sacrificing them under any circumstance whatsoever,
Right.
you
And
know?
when you came to realize what your truth was, and then you look back on your life, excuse me, did you realize that there were other hints along the way that this is your truth? Or do you think you became this person at that age?
I think that there were hints along the way. And when I look back at everything, um, a lot of the things that I have returned, and I say return because it was already me, you know,
Right.
it's like I literally, after it ended and I restarted my life, it's like I literally picked up where I left off. The same person. Nothing's changed, except I'm just more evolved internally. I just have a
Right.
higher and deeper understanding, but I'm still the same person, which means that relationship took me out of my truth. And it was only a matter of time. I don't even think it's that the things that I learned when I studied with the shaman master changed anything. I think what it did, it brought me back to center,
Right.
is what it
Made you
did.
more aware. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. And it's a good thing to teach others. So you are making the world a better place. That's
And
important.
I think we all need that. I mean, these are simple things, but when we are inside of ourselves and inside of our lives every day, sometimes we can't see it. It's that close. It's hard to really make out something when it's
We
that
don't want to
close.
see it,
And we
probably.
don't want to see it because we're afraid, like I said, oh God, if I do this, this is going to end everything. I don't
Right.
even know what I'm going to do. I don't even know, you
Right.
know?
Well, I think we may know what our truth is, but I think especially females are raised covertly and overtly to
Mm-hmm.
go toward men. You know, if you watch
Mm-hmm.
any child-oriented movie involving a female lead, she's saved by a man. And then, she gets
Mm-hmm.
married and lives happily ever after, and we're
Yes.
we're we're complimented if we help and we give and we take care of somebody else. And I think it's really not fair that that happens, but it's easy to suppress your truth
Mm-hmm.
because you're given those messages. Oh, no, no, that's not who you are. This is who you are.
Yeah, conditioning, because I grew up, and things were pretty traditional, you know, traditional conditioning. This is your husband, you follow your husband, he takes lead and you follow.
Right.
And then I'm not saying that there's not truth in that, because that's just natural, the yin and yang of things, right? The masculine and the feminine essence. But it has to be the right person in the right situation in order for you to even do that. Like they have to honor you and your truths as well. It can't be like one sided. There has to be understanding. And so this is me at an older age, at a more evolved age, looking at dating world and relationships and things from a much more heightened
Yeah.
perspective. Like, does this honor my truth? If I can't see myself moving forward in this, what is the point? Why even bother if I don't feel like this person can lead? If I don't feel like I can submit, you know? And it's
Right.
submitting taking away from my essence of a person, of who I am.
And how great would it be if we started to teach these things to children when they're younger?
Mm-hmm.
We're teaching our children all kinds of things in school. You know what I mean? Why not help children? Well, I guess it would be too woo-woo, right? Which is the issue that everybody has, but help them know their truth and find their truth and be true to
Mm-hmm.
their truth at a younger age. So maybe as
Yes.
they grow in the right direction. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
toward their own truth.
Right. Because there's so much. And, I was just thinking about this the other day, just, on social media, everything is cookie cutter. This is how society says I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to look like. This is what I'm supposed to do. If I don't have this, I'm not good enough. If I don't have that, I'm not good enough. And how heavily for women it is to meet this expectation of man. And I never really looked at it like that. But now stepping back, I'm like, But why
Mhm.
do we do these things? Like, who are you doing it for? Are you doing it because you want to do it, or you're doing it to be accepted by society? Are you doing it so that you may feel more desirable by the opposite sex? Like, what is it?
Right.
And these are really the questions that I'm really starting to like, let me step back and really look at that, you know?
Yeah.
Because now I feel more rooted in my own truth. And I was like, why would I have ever done that? And from the first place, when I already know that that's really not in alignment with me.
Well, I didn't know you before today, but may I just say you seem very grounded and
Yeah.
um, it's wonderful. You're very much you. You're very,
And wise.
yes, very
Yes,
much.
well, thank you. This is years of doing and self undoing constantly, trying to see what works. And you know, I think I've lost a lot along the way, material things, relationships, family, friends, all of these things. But at the end of the day, it has allowed me to be more grounded.
And happier.
Yeah, it's true. Like I used to think about how anxious I always feel, how unsettled I always felt, how if I do something wrong or if this, I don't feel that way. And it's just now just learning, because there's always conditioning, right? We're conditioned from day one. As soon as we come out of the womb, we're starting to be shaped and conditioned, and just learning just to be in acceptance with that. Saying, okay, this is just what it is. It's not bad. It's not, it doesn't, it just is, right? And just being more comfortable in your own skin.
Right.
When
Quiet all
you,
the voices.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you first came to realize that you were not being honest with yourself, how did you begin your healing journey?
Oh boy. Well, isolation. I think the first step, I was really isolated. I spent like a lot of time by myself at the trail. I was doing a lot of fitness stuff at the time. So I would go for walks and I wanted to be around people less because I needed to see what was really mine, right? We don't know when we're constantly bombarded from other people. So I would kind of, the ratio started changing. I was saying like 3/4 of it until it got to I'm spending 3/4 of the time by myself. I'm like, okay, kids, you guys are old enough. All right, you can stay. Okay, mom will be back, because I wanted to experience me, but I liked that. I ended up liking what I was experiencing. And I began to learn more about me, what I like, what I want, what's important to me, values and things. And so that was the first step, was isolation. Like I had to get away, you know?
That's great. That's great. And you mentioned working with a shamanic master. Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you were led to that shamanic master?
Oh, yes. I started, so I had a pretty traumatic childhood. I lost my mother at an early age. She was murdered
Oh,
by her husband,
oh goodness.
and he shot me. And so those years between, like, I would even say even before that, between maybe like 12 and 18 was just like horrifying to me in my mind, in my life, you know? Um, and I'm sorry, tell me what was the, let me see where I was going with this for a second.
Do you feel like you were led to the shamanic master?
Yes. Okay. So I spent a lot of that time after about 18. I just had questions. Why? Why me? Why all these things? I kept saying, I need something. I said, I do need, people will always say, oh, you need to go to church, you need to do all of these things. And I just said, yeah, I said, I need something. I'm not sure that's quite
It
what
is.
I'm looking for, but something. And so I will always say that. And so I started having these visions around 18 of this older, like Asian master, like guy, and he was like meditating. Like every time I would say that to myself, I need something. I will always have this vision in my head. So I knew maybe it's something like that, but I couldn't quite tell like how to go about that or what that was or how it would be or whatever. And so after I met the master and I became one of his students, we were sitting in class one day and he was meditating. And I was like, that's it. That's this is the guy. This is what I always saw every time I would say I need something. So at that point I was like, yes, this is it. I'm on the right path, you know?
Nice.
That's great. Excuse me. And if you were raised in the church, Did you ever doubt that a shaman was okay?
I mean, yes. And mind you, I actually grew up with a Jehovah's Witness. So you
Oh,
can only imagine how strict, you
yes.
know, a lot of their religious views and things were. I was always kind of one foot in and one foot out. And I think my sister, she was a Jehovah's Witness. I think she always knew that. And so she would always say astrology and like spiritism, and she would always target me with these things because I think that she could see that like you seem like you're leaning a little more like
Right.
esoteric practices and things like that. Um, it wasn't a bad experience, like value. It taught me things. It helped me in life. It did. I cannot say it didn't. I can't say it was my for, but it was definitely a branch that definitely did play a part. And I did question these things, but at the same time, I felt like a lot of these views were overtly, and I felt like they were very like oppressive and kind of fine tuned. It's kind of like almost like confirmation theory is kind of how I looked at a lot of things. So I was kind of like, yeah, but so I was open to a certain degree.
Oh, good. Yes. I don't know much about Jehovah's Witnesses. I used to date somebody who was a former Jehovah's Witness, but when I see them today, and they're a group of them, and they're going door to door, and they're moving so slowly, my heart hurts for them. I keep thinking
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to do this any more than we want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
got to be really
Yeah.
difficult to do that.
It
Um,
does. Has to be.
yeah.
And that, my biggest thing was, my final conclusion, even to this day, we're different people. We have different belief systems. Not saying that you're right, not saying that I'm right, not saying that anybody. It's not about being right. It's just that people are driven by different things, and everybody has a role to play. And what may work for you may not work for me, right? We
Exactly.
all take different paths to get to the same destination, whatever that may be, right? Um, so yeah.
Wow. Now, there's a theory that before we incarnate, we sit with our Creator and we choose every single moment of our lives, including the difficult parts. Do you feel like maybe the reason the early part of your life was as difficult and traumatic, my goodness, traumatic as it was, is because it led you to where you are now?
Yes. And I remember this is what actually started me. I actually started my hypnosis journey with a shaman master. And I remember one day I told him, I said, Sifu, I said, I want to have a hypnosis session with you. And I said, he says, okay, so what is it that you want to work on? I said, well, I want to forget. I said, I want to forget my life. I said it was just traumatic. I don't want to remember seeing my mother get killed. I don't want to remember all these things that happened to me. I don't want to remember my past. And I said, I just want you to give me amnesia and take it away. That's what I told him. So he sat for a minute and he says, well, he said, can I say something? He said, I don't really think that that's the best thing for us to do. And I said, but why? I said, why would I want to keep those things? I don't need any of these things. And he says, well, he said, let me put it to you like this. Your life experiences has created you to be the person that you are. If I were to go in and snap and give you amnesia and take that away, then many things in your life would change. Perhaps even your path in life of healing and helping others, because these things are based upon your traumatic experiences in life, right? You see people have been through this. I want to help people because when I remember when I was a little girl, da 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 da, and I saw this. So now I want to start this foundation. I want to help others, right? So, but if you take that away, then they don't have the same drive nor the same passion for the things that they do. So he told me that that is not a good idea and that he was not going to do that, you know? And so made me step back and kind of look and see what he was saying. I said, you know what? He's right. And I think that was the start of the hypnosis right there with that realization.
Right.
This is who you are because of what you've been through. So I
Yes.
didn't really look at it like a negative thing anymore. Actually, it's so bad after all. It's giving me drive and giving me passion for certain things that I would never probably have had.
Right.
And what more beautiful thing can you do than to take the most painful part of your life and turn it into a gift for others?
Right.
It gives you purpose, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important to me. It gave me purpose. It's like, okay, well, yes, this happened. But now I understand certain things on a different level. So when I
Right.
come across other people that are going, and for some reason, I attract people with these things. I attract people who have watched parents being murdered. I attract these things all the time. And it gives me purpose. That's why I'm here.
Right.
I'm
That
here to
lets you
help this
hope.
person because no one else may not know what you're going through, but I do.
Right.
I lived it. So I get it, you know?
Mm,
And look how
bless you.
great I am now and how happy and centered and grounded. It gives people hope that they
It
too can
does.
have a grounded, intentional life.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. And when people want to contact you, how do they do that?
Mostly people contact, even though they never use my business pages. No, people always contact me on my personal page, or by email. That's usually how people reach out to me, or I have a Google listing, so I get a lot of people that reach out through that. Um,
What is your email address?
my email address is Brandi, BRANDIME, so it's EMME at .CHT at iCloud. So Brandi M .CHT at iCloud.
Okay, iCloud. Okay. And Jewel, do you have any more questions?
I would like to just ask if there's one thing that you would like the audience to take away from today, what would it be?
Know thyself. You have to. It will save you
A
a
lot of
lot of
trouble.
trouble in life if you know yourself. And you're not going to understand anyone else until you are honest and truthful and you understand self. Because you
Absolutely.
have to see how it's relative and how you play in the equation. You don't know that until you're
Right.
honest with yourself.
Absolutely. Yes.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for being our
Really,
guest today.
it was a
And
pleasure.
thank you so much
You
for all
are
the,
very welcome.
and also thank you for all the beautiful work that you're doing in the world for all these people. That's wonderful too.
Yeah. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course.
Great.
And this has been another episode of A Better World with Julann and Fran. Please like and share this video and please subscribe to the channel. And please join us again for our other videos. Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you so much.